This is an Atlantic mackerel, and we bought it at the local fish market. It is an active, fast-swimming, schooling fish found in the North Atlantic Ocean. Mackerel is a globally consumed fish, and the Atlantic mackerel is one of the 5 different species of mackerel found. Let's take a closer look at it. Most fish share the same basic skin structure. The outer layer is a slimy mucus that helps protect against germs and parasites while reducing drag in the water. This is followed by a layer of scales, and underneath the scales you find its skin. Interestingly, the color of most fish actually comes from the pigment cells in the skin and not from the scales themselves. All mackerel species have some sort of dark patterning on the back. This Atlantic mackerel has dark, wavy, irregular lines. This helps break up the outline of the fish, making it harder for predators above to spot it. This camouflage technique is common in marine fish and helps them blend into the shifting light patterns of the open ocean. What's more, mackerel have tiny shiny structures called iridophores embedded along their straps. You can't see them with the naked eye, but they reflect light differently depending on the fish's movement. As the mackerel tilts, turns, or speeds up, the shimmer along its body changes. This helps signal direction and motion to nearby fish, allowing the school to stay synchronized and move as one. Mackerels are really effective hunters. They often feed in schools, each fish swimming with its mouth wide open to catch tiny prey like plankton. This group strategy makes them more efficient. Prey that escapes one mackerel often swims right into the next. When larger prey like small fish or shrimp are around, the school often splits up. Individual mackerel then hunt more actively, using these small, sharp teeth to grab and hold slippery prey. The Atlantic mackerel is also a long-distance traveler. It's a migratory species, making seasonal journeys that depend on water temperature, food availability, and the fish's age and size. The migrations can cover hundreds and even over 1,000 kilometers. In fact, one tag mackerel was recorded traveling around 1,200 kilometers in just 13 days. You can tell it's built for the journey just by looking at it. Its body is streamlined and elongated, with a powerful, deeply forked tail fin over here for sustained swimming. It also has a row of small finlets, you can see them over here, small finlets, which are just behind the anal fin and the dorsal fin. They reduce drag and turbulence, and this makes long-distance travel way more efficient. Here you can see the gills. They are essential for breathing. Gills are delicate organs and they need to be protected. We humans have lungs, and we keep our lungs protected by bones called ribs that surround them and keep them safe. In fish, the gills are protected by a bony flap. This is called the operculum. The mackerel must swim constantly to push water over their gills and absorb oxygen. In other words, they cannot breathe if they stop moving. This is called obligate REM ventilation. And yes, fish breathe through their gills, but they still have a nose, at least something that resembles a nose. Mackerel have 2 small nostrils on each side of their snout. These are only for smelling, not breathing. Water flows through the nostrils, carrying chemical signals that help the fish detect prey, avoid danger, and navigate their environment. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the gills. I'm going to cut away the operculum so we can see them. What you see over here is a gill arch. Atlantic mackerel have 4 gill arches on each side of the head. I will cut out one arch for you to see what it is made of. The short, spiky teeth that were facing the front are the gill rakes. They are to keep things in the water from entering the gills and damaging the rest of the gills or clogging them up. The center is the gill arch. The rest of the gill, that looks a bit like an eyelash, are the gill fibers. They are full of blood, and it is where the oxygen that is dissolved in the water transfers into the fish's blood, and the carbon dioxide comes out of the fish's blood. I also really want to show you the inside of the mackerel's eye. The eyes of the fish work a bit differently than ours. First, light enters the fish's eye through the pupil. Now, humans adjust focus by changing the shape of our lens that sits just behind the pupil. But in fish, the lens is a perfect little sphere that cannot change shape. So, how do they adjust focus? Instead of bending the lens like we do, mackerels, and most fish in general, move the whole lens forward and backward inside their eye. This changes the position of the lens towards the retina. The retina is the light-sensitive layer of tissue of the eye. We humans also have a retina. And the basic principle is the same. The retina contains photoreceptor cells that convert light into the nerve signals, which the brain then processes into the images we see. Ready to check the inside of this mackerel? Of course, usually when you buy a fish from the fish market, it has already been gutted, but I specifically asked for a fish that still had all of its organs. So, here we have it. I'm opening the body cavity, starting at the anus, cutting forward toward the pelvic fins. Fish have a single loop circulatory system where blood flows from the heart, over here, to the gills to pick up oxygen, then straight to the rest of the body before returning to the heart. In contrast, humans have a double circulatory system with a 4-chambered heart that pumps blood twice. First to the lungs for oxygen, then back to the heart to be sent out to the body. The mackerel's heart is located just behind and below the gills. It may look small compared to that of mammals, but is actually quite large for a fish of this size, which is because of its active lifestyle. In fish like the mackerel, the digestive tract consists of the esophagus, stomach, pyloric ceci, and intestine. Food moves down the esophagus into the stomach, which we have over here. Put this little stick in there so you can see it. Over here. And here is where acids and enzymes start breaking it down. It then moves into the pyloric ceci, which are these numerous finger-like sacs at the junction between stomach and intestine. These greatly increase surface area. So that's all these white jiggly stuff over here. They also release digestive enzymes and help absorb nutrients, making up for the mackerel's shorter, less specialized intestine. The intestine, over here, can be divided morphologically into anterior and posterior. But these do not function in the same way as the mammalian small and large intestines. The pyloric ceci aren't for fermentation as in birds and mammals. They are specialized for efficient uptake of sugars, amino acids, and small peptides. After the pyloric ceci, the remaining material travels through the intestine, where the less nutrients are absorbed and waste is prepared for excretion. Normally, mackerels are either male or female, but rare cases of hermaphroditism, having both testes and ovaries, have been observed. The size and development of the gonads fluctuate with season, environmental conditions, and the reproductive cycle, peaking during spawning periods. This one, over here, we have the intestine. Let's move that aside for a bit. These are the gonads, and they're actually pretty small, and we are not quite sure ourselves what it is, but we think this is a male. If you know what it is, let us know in the comments. To find the kidneys, I'm going to remove some of the insides of this fish. In mackerel, the kidneys are long, slender and reddish, running along the backbone. This is quite different from the bean-shaped kidneys we see in humans. Both mackerel and humans use their kidneys to filter the blood and maintain the right balance of water and salts. But in fish, like the mackerel, these organs are specifically adapted to deal with the challenges of living in salty seawater. That was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. See you next time!